Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Good to see you all.
Hare
So
Krishna, Prabhu.
tonight, Hare Krishna. So tonight we will continue with our study of Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace A.C.Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON. And tonight we will continue. We will finish chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. So tonight we're beginning from verse number 31. So as usual, if you have any questions or any comments as we go, then please ask. Text number 31. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So the beginning of the chapter, verses 1 to 27, they discuss the preparation for the war, because this book is spoken on a battlefield. It's a fratricidal war between cousins, Arjuna, his family, and Duryodhana, his family. So at one point, Arjuna, he becomes confused as to whether he should fight the battle, which is quite natural. If you were in a battle with your family, you had to fight and potentially kill your family, you would have doubts about whether you're doing the right thing. So this is Arjuna's dilemma. So from the second part of the chapter, the first part is describing the preparation for war. And the second half of the chapter, which we'll be speaking about tonight, is Arjuna's dilemma and his reasons for not wanting to fight. Because he wants to avoid the fight. At this point, we've discussed he's been covered by Yogamaya, by Krishna's internal potency, and therefore he is doubting and he's desiring not to fight. This is by Krishna's arrangement, so the Bhagavad Gita can be spoken for our benefit. So last week we covered the first reason why Arjuna did not want to fight, and that was compassion, because we don't like fighting. None of us like to fight. So when we find ourselves in a hostile situation, we generally try to avoid this situation because we don't like to fight. None of us like conflict generally. So out of compassion, he did not want to fight. Now tonight, verses 31 to 35, we will hear about Arjuna's second reason for not wanting to fight, and that is enjoyment. Because you can't enjoy yourself after a fight if you've killed your own family. Who is there to enjoy with? So this is his second reason, which is also a very strong reason why he doesn't want to fight. So we'll hear about this now. Text number 31. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So he doesn't want to fight the battle, which is, a very powerful argument that he doesn't want to fight the battle. Because how can you enjoy something when everyone else is dead? So therefore, he's giving this very strong argument. And then he says in text 32 to 35, O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them, and now arrayed on this battlefield. O Madhusudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds. Let alone this earth, what pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So these are his reasons for not wanting to fight. Now, the next reason, we actually discussed this reason last week, but the next reason, from text 37 to 43, he speaks about the destruction of the family. Because he doesn't want the family to be destroyed, because there are consequences, there are social implications when we destroy families. And you see in modern society in particular, modern society is dysfunctional because the family unit has been destroyed in so many places. So because so many families are dysfunctional, then society becomes dysfunctional. So this is the next reason why he says, I don't want to fight the battle. So these are very compelling and very convincing reasons as to why he does not want to fight. So he says to Krishna, sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What could we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So he explains, he does not want to kill his kinsmen in the battle, which is natural. I don't want to kill them because then sin will overcome us. So in a civilized world, in an advanced culture, we understand the law of karma. Karma means whatever you do, it will come back to you. So here we're speaking about sin. Sin means bad karma, negative karma. We call it papa. Papa means bad things. So if you kill someone, if you're intelligent, you know that karma is going to come back to you. That's why in the Hare Krishna movement, we are vegetarian. Because we understand if you kill the animal, that karma will come back to you. That's why we don't eat the meat. And that's why in the world we see there are so many wars right now, because people are killing the animals. If you kill the animals, then that karma will come back to you. So he says, I don't want to incur sin. This is natural. This is a very strong argument, and this is a natural argument for anyone who is practicing a genuine spiritual path. They don't want to create bad karma. So he's saying, I don't want to create bad karma. I want to avoid that. So he is trying to avoid the fight. Prabhupada says in the purport, obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. We all have obligations in life. This is called dharma. Dharma, this word means duty. Right? Certain things you should do in life. Right? If your parents are old, you should look after them. Right? If you have children, you have to look after them. It's called dharma. Right? That means proper activity, proper action. So Prabhupada says, obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. So if something is good, then you should do it. But then Prabhupada says, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. So in other words, if we know by the information given to us in the ancient teachings, in the Shastra, if we know something is bad, then you're not bound to do it. You have to avoid it at any cost. Like for ourselves, we won't eat meat, right? Even if we're in a difficult situation, we won't eat meat, right? Because we know it will bind us, it will give us negative reactions. So therefore we are able to avoid that. So he is in a difficult situation. Prabhupada explains that there are 6 types of aggressors in the purport. Prabhupada explains. In other words, it is mentioned there are 6 types of aggressors, that if these people are being aggressive to you, you are permitted to retaliate with violence. In other words, you can even kill them, right? So these are 6 extraordinary circumstances in which we're allowed to kill someone. So Prabhupada says someone who tries to poison you, someone who tries to set fire to your house, someone who attacks you with a deadly weapon, someone who's a thief, someone who occupies your land or kidnaps your wife, then you're allowed to kill them. According to the ancient teachings, these 6 people are they're aggressors, and it is dharma, or it is sacred duty to be aggressive towards these people. So Arjuna is trying to avoid the situation. He doesn't want to get into this battle, because he understands there will be sin. However, these 6 transgressions, trying to poison someone, set fire to the house, attack them with weapons, steal, occupy their land, and kidnap their wife, all 6 of these things were done to Yudhishthira, Arjuna, and the Pandavas. Therefore, it was not sinful for them to fight this battle. Even though Arjuna is saying, it is sinful, I don't want to fight. Actually, it's not sinful for him because his cousins were aggressive towards him in all of these 6 ways. So even though he is feeling he doesn't want to fight, actually he is permitted to fight, and there will be no reaction if he does fight. Text 37 and 38. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? So a devotee understands that although these people are doing the wrong thing towards me, I don't feel I want to do the wrong thing towards them. So normally, that is a strong argument. A devotee by nature doesn't want to commit violence unto others. However, if someone is a leader or a kshatriya, then it is his duty to act like this if these people are acting improperly. So there was nothing wrong with Arjuna feeling this way, that he wanted to be aggressive towards them. Actually, it was his duty to do this. So naturally, normally we wouldn't want to be like this, but under these circumstances, sometimes it is necessary for someone to act in an aggressive way in order to protect others. So normally we don't like to be violent, but if violence is being committed towards those around us, then we should respond with violence, and that is not improper. Even though it's the last resort, we don't necessarily enjoy doing it, but it is necessary sometimes. Text number 39. With the destruction of dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that on the death of elder members, family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining members may develop irreligious habits and lose their chance for salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. So this is a very strong argument. We have to protect the elder people in the family, the grandparents and so forth, because they have wisdom, at least traditionally. Maybe these days that is becoming less apparent. Maybe these days the grandparents aren't very wise. They're just materialistic. So, but traditionally, if the grandparents were wise people, then we have to protect them, because they are the ones who keep society focused. That's one of the problems we have in the modern world, that the elderly people are not qualified. They're not giving the wisdom that we need, and therefore sometimes we don't listen to them, or they may be saying the right thing, but we've stopped listening to them, and now you can see society has so many problems. But traditionally, that is the system, that you would listen to the elderly people. And by listening to the elderly people, then things would carry on properly. Text number 40. When irreligion is prominent in the family or Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that the Varnashram religious principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. So this all ties in, that this is a battle, and traditionally in the battle, the men would go to war, right? In this war, traditionally men would go and fight. Now Arjuna is arguing that, and it's a strong point, that if we kill all the men, who's going to protect the women? And if the women are not protected, then what will happen? Men who are not good men, they will pollute and corrupt the women, right? And then we're not going to have a good society, because you're going to have children born who are not born in a caring situation, and therefore society will go down very quickly. So this is another argument. So he's giving all these social arguments why we should not fight the battle. The elders will be killed, the family members will be killed, the men will be killed, the women won't be protected. Right? So he's giving very strong arguments as why he should not fight the battle. And Krishna rejects all of the arguments. This is the interesting point. Because Krishna wants to establish the highest principle of religion, What is the highest principle? The highest principle is surrender unto Him, surrender unto Krishna. We should serve God above all other circumstances. So he is saying, no, Arjuna, you should fight. Even though there is risk that problems will be caused after the war. But if we keep this government or these impious kings in power, then it will become very difficult to fight. It'll become very difficult to rule the kingdom. So he's giving very strong reasons, Arjuna, but then Krishna ultimately he rejects these reasons. And he says, no, we should still fight the battle based on putting the right king who will give the most benefit to the kingdom into the on the throne. So he's giving these very strong reasons, and Krishna is still wants him to fight the battle. Text number 41. An increase of unwanted population causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that all obligations are automatically fulfilled by the performance of devotional service to Krishna. This is an important point because in this traditional ancient civilization, when your family members pass away, you do sacrificial activities or you perform certain sacrifices for their benefit. You understand? It's like traditional rituals. When someone has passed away, we will do rituals for them. It will say to benefit their soul. That makes sense? So we will do these specific rituals. Now he's saying that if we kill everyone, the elders, and who will do the rituals? Right? So people have died. We have to perform the rituals for them, and there'll be no one left to do it. So he's giving these more strong arguments. But then Prabhupada is pointing out in the purport that all obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to Krishna. So if you serve God, if you serve Krishna, and you please him, everything else is taken care of. Right? Everyone else will be satisfied. Right? Everything will be taken care of just by serving Krishna. So that is one of the special benefits which is being given here. Krishna is saying, if you just serve him, then everything will come automatically. Then text number 42. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the breaking of the Sanatan Dharma by irresponsible leaders brings about chaos to society. And consequently, people forget the aim of life, which is Krishna. So he's arguing that if we kill all of these kings, these princes, these warriors, no one will be there to protect society, and then society will become chaotic. There has to be, in society, we need an army. Every country has an army. Right? We need it because sometimes the country will be attacked. We don't like to use the army, but sometimes we have to. There's no choice. Because otherwise there will be chaos in society. Just like in America the last few years, there was some police, they acted improperly. So then some people said, let's get rid of all the police. But then that's not very intelligent. Because now you're going to have more problems if you get rid of the police completely. So we need to have some discipline, some order within society. If there's not discipline, if there's not order in society, society will become completely chaotic. So he's saying that if we remove too many of these warriors, then we may have too much chaos in society. So he's giving very strong arguments to Krishna. Then he says, O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. So, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, one cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. So, how do we know what is wrong and what is right in life? How do we know? Everyone argues. One person says, oh, this is right. One person said, it's okay to kill animals. We say it's not okay to kill animals. So who's right? It's an important question. Who is right? We say that the ancient teachings are right because they're given by God himself, by Krishna himself. So that is the authority. Otherwise, everyone, it's all arbitrary in society. One person has an opinion, another person has another opinion. Who is right? Right? We don't know who is right. That's why we have to take, in our opinion, we have to take knowledge from a higher authority. So he is saying that by these deeds, everything will be destroyed. If we fight this battle, so many people will die. There'll be so many problems, and we will get the bad karma, the sin will come upon us. So therefore, we have to know in life when is the right time to fight, when is the wrong time to fight. Because according to this battle, because Krishna himself is asking him to fight, then this battle is a dharmic activity. It is Sanatan Dharma, it is spiritual activity. But if Krishna was not ordaining this activity, this battle, it would not be considered spiritual. It would be material, and you would get bad karma from it. So that was the third reason from verses 37 to 43. The first reason Arjuna says he doesn't want to fight is because of compassion. The second reason is there's no enjoyment. What happiness will we get if we kill everyone? The third reason is it will destroy the family. Society will be in a very difficult situation if we destroy everyone. Now, the fourth reason is sinful reactions, that we will get very bad karma if we do this, if we fight in this battle. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So Prabhupada mentions that driven by selfish motives, one is inclined to sinful acts. But a saintly person a devotee of the Lord is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities. And then Prabhupada says, it is the symptom of a great devotee of the Lord to be soft-hearted. So in other words, the devotee does not want to fight. He doesn't want to incur bad karma. So these are important considerations. And this shows that we always need, in our tradition, we have guru. Like you see the picture of our guru. Why do we have guru? Because then you know what to do. Because you can always ask your guru, what should be done? Otherwise, people don't know what to do. They're not sure. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Half the people do one thing, half the people do another thing. No one knows what is right. Therefore, you need direction in life. So it is being said here that we need to get this direction. We need to get this guidance. This comes from Guru. Sadhu means saintly people, and Shastra means ancient teachings, ancient scriptures. And this is how we understand what is the correct way to act in this world. So these are the four reasons Arjuna is given not to fight: because of compassion, there'll be no enjoyment, the family will be destroyed, I'll get sinful reactions. And now he gives his final reason, which is actually in the next chapter, which we will get to. Text number 46. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So, Prabhupada says, a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. So he was confused. You can imagine, he is the most powerful warrior on the earth. And the two armies have just met. Everyone can see him, right? So he's considered the most powerful warrior. His enemies can see him. His family can see him. And now it's obvious that he is confused. He sits down on the chariot. He puts down his bow, right, which shows that he's confused. And this must be a bewildering situation for everyone involved. Now, his good quality is that Bhaktosi me Sakha Cheti, he is a devotee and a friend of Krishna, of God himself. And Krishna is about to speak the Bhagavad Gita to him. So what is his good quality? He is confused, but he is willing to take guidance from a superior authority, in this case, Krishna himself. So it is okay to admit you are confused. It is okay to say, I don't know, or I do not know what is the right thing to do. That is okay. But what is important is that we take guidance from higher authority. If you say you don't know what to do, but then you don't get guidance, then you're in a very difficult situation. So Arjuna, that's his good quality. He doesn't know what to do, but at least he surrenders unto Krishna. So now we'll go into chapter 2. So chapter 2 is called Contents of the Gita Summarized. This chapter is the second longest chapter within the Bhagavad Gita, and it has 72 verses, and it's called Contents of the Gita Summarized. So it's like a summary of many of the points which will later be expanded upon in the Bhagavad Gita. So, verse number 1 of chapter 2. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudan, Krishna, spoke the following words. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport that material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. So, what is the entire message of the Bhagavad Gita? If we listen to Prabhupada's lectures and his instructions when it comes to the Bhagavad Gita, probably the main point that Prabhupada drives home continuously is that you are not the body. Right? The body is just temporary. Right? We are not man or woman. That is just temporary. We are the soul. We are not Italian or Australian. That is temporary. Right? We are not human resource officer or Hare Krishna monk. All of these things are temporary designations. Jivara Srupahoy Krishnera Nichadas. Our eternal occupational position is that we are Krishna's eternal servant. We are the soul. We are Jivatma. So when we have material compassion or lamentation and tears, these are all signs of ignorance of our real self. It means we don't understand who we really are. So therefore, that is why Krishna is about to correct Arjuna. Although he's giving very convincing and very strong arguments as to why he should not fight this battle, Krishna is about to lift him above all of these considerations by putting him on the spiritual platform. And that is the message of the Bhagavad Gita, to bring us onto the spiritual platform. So this is why the Bhagavad Gita was sung by Krishna, to dissipate the darkness of ignorance that everyone has in this material world. Text number 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. So Prabhupada says in the purport that deviation from duty does not help one progress in spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in this world. So one has to perform one's spiritual duty, right? As Prabhupada pointed out in the previous chapter, he quoted the Bhagavatam, that we all have obligations, we all have duty to perform in this world. But the highest duty, which supersedes and overrides everything, is our service to God, to Krishna. Right? This has to be, this must be uncompromised under all circumstances. Right? We cannot compromise our duty to Krishna, our service to Krishna. Right? There may be so many other duties we have in this world, but all of them can be set aside for our service to Krishna. So it has been pointed out here that one should know the actual purpose of life. That is the point of human life. And here Krishna is speaking. It says Sri Bhagavan Vacha. This is the Supreme Lord Himself speaking, the Supreme Authority. Text number 3. O son of Prita, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So, normally, we are non-violent. We don't like violence, right? We don't like to fight. We don't like to harm others. But if someone is being aggressive unnecessarily, it is our duty to defend other people. So therefore, we are not whimsical when it comes to defending people, and especially devotees of Krishna. We are not whimsical when it comes to this. You know, if we need to defend them, we will defend them. Right? So normally, so-called violence should be given up by persons under the direct guidance of Krishna. But it should not be given up when it's used for the right purpose or the right cause. So this is why Krishna is inciting Arjuna to fight, to perform his duty, to fight the battle, to establish Yudhishthira as the king, as the emperor, so that Dharma will prevail on the earth. So Krishna is saying here, don't degrade yourself and give up your duty to fight because of petty weakness of heart, hridaya dobalyam. And this is a test for all of us. You know, sometimes we may feel like giving up our service to Krishna, our service to God. But this is weakness of heart if we do give it up. Right? It should not be abandoned under any circumstance. We must always perform our duty. Text number 4. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Prabhupada points out that we should not even offer a verbal argument to a superior person. It means if someone is a guru or spiritually evolved, spiritually progressed person, we should always offer respect to them. And we should not argue with them even. You know, we must always maintain a humble disposition, a humble mood. So Arjuna is saying, I can't fight because my guru is on the other battlefield, on the other side of the battlefield. I can't fight with him. It's not appropriate. And normally that is true. Normally that is true. But Krishna is pointing out to Arjuna, the highest principle is to follow the directions of God Himself, of Krishna Himself. So even if that means you have to fight with your guru, right? If you're doing it for the right cause, because in this situation, the guru had sided with the evil-minded sons of Dhritarashtra. So therefore, Arjuna had to fight with him. There's a whole intrigue or a whole reason behind why all of this took place. But Arjuna had to fight with them. So he was not doing the wrong thing to fight with them. Text number 5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. So once again, this is the same argument Arjuna is giving in chapter 1. The fourth reason is that if he fights, he will get sinful reactions. He will get bad karma, negative karma. So he does not want to fight in this particular circumstance. So he's giving very convincing arguments. But Prabhupada points out in the purport that a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. So normally we would not fight with the guru. Right? Normally we don't fight with the teachers. But if the teacher is no longer following the teachings, the pure teachings, then we have to reject him. So therefore he rejects. Krishna says, no, they have sided with the evil sons of Dhritarashtra. So therefore, even though he was your guru or is your guru, he has made his choice, right? He's not actually following the pure teachings of Krishna at this point in time. Therefore, you may. So that's why we need a guru, so that we can understand all of these intricacies. Text number 6. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So this is another reason why he does not want to fight. This is the 5th reason, actually. Right? Compassion, enjoyment, destruction of the family, sinful reactions, and now simply indecision. Right? He just does not know. And we all go through that in life. Sometimes we're just confused. Right? We don't know what is right, what is wrong, what I should do, what I should not do. Right? Sometimes we just do not know what is the right thing to do. So we're indecisive. And because Arjuna is indecisive, then his good quality is that he goes to his guru to receive the answers. So this teaches us what we should do. If we do not know what to do, we should go to the guru to receive the guidance and the answers. Now, Prabhupada makes a very important point in the purport. He says, unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. So what is Arjuna's good quality? He controls his senses, he controls his mind, and he does the right thing. That is Arjuna's good quality. And that's something we have to learn. We have to learn to control our mind and our senses. Because people in this world don't have control. Right? Their mind is not in control, their senses are not under control. And if you don't have control of the mind and senses, you can't progress in spiritual life. You can't make the right decisions. Now, text number 7. Now, this is a very important verse because this is where Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. And because he surrenders to Krishna, now the Bhagavad Gita will actually be spoken. Up until now, Krishna has not said very much because he's waiting for Arjuna to surrender unto him and to show him the right consciousness or mentality. So because he's about to show the right consciousness and mentality, then all these things will come. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So, Prabhupada points out that the Vedic wisdom advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. Shishasteham satimam tvam prapanam. Right? Arjuna says, I am your disciple. I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. He wants to be instructed by Krishna. So he wants to find the way out of his problem. He's in a dilemma, a greater dilemma than any of us will ever be. Although he's in this great dilemma, he says to Krishna, I'm your disciple, I'm surrendered unto you, please instruct me. And if we want to progress in spiritual life, we have to come to this point where we are willing to become humble and to ask our gurus, our instructors, what should I do now? So now, even though he's a great personality himself, but he's asking Krishna, what should I do now? And now Krishna is about to speak the Bhagavad Gita in order to elevate him. So Prabhupada says, the Vedic wisdom advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life, one has to approach a spiritual master. Right? Otherwise, you will not understand what to do with your life. Text number 8. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So, once again, he's giving this second argument that he used in the previous chapter. What's the use of fighting? I won't be able to enjoy. Right? Even if I win this kingdom, all my family will be dead. How can I enjoy myself? So he's giving these very powerful arguments to Krishna. And then Prabhupada says in the purport that one can achieve real happiness only if one consults Krishna or the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the science of Krishna, through the bona fide representatives of Krishna, the man in Krishna consciousness. Text number 9. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. So Prabhupada says, one who surrenders unto the spiritual master as a disciple will soon be freed from the false lamentation and will be enlightened with Krishna consciousness. So he is asking him, please give me instruction. Please give me guidance at this point in time. And text number 10. O descendant of Bharata, At that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both of the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So Prabhupada points out in the purport that as the Lord of all, Krishna is always in the superior position as the master of everyone, yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. So Krishna is smiling. Why is Krishna smiling? Because he is God. God is not affected by even when he comes into the world, he's not affected by the mundane goings on in this world. Therefore, Krishna is smiling, and he is about to give Arjuna the solution to all of his problems. And next week, we will begin the Bhagavad Gita, so to speak, because Krishna will begin to instruct Arjuna. Manju, I noticed you just came on from up there. We're on daylight savings. So we started 1 hour ago. So we're just finishing the class. So I presume that's why you've just come on, because maybe where you are, the time is different. But where we are, so please, you'll have to, if that's the case, you'll have to come on an hour earlier. The class is recorded, so you can listen to the recording. Does anyone have any questions or comments on what we have discussed in this class? Okay. So I'll see you next week. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming.